For just a moment, let's forget the gleaming katanas, the stoic samurai, and those grand feudal battles. What if Japan's real epic, its foundational story, wasn't first written in steel? What if it was etched into clay, woven in new threads, and grown in waterlogged fields, thousands of years before the first shogun even existed? Imagine if the bedrock of that incredible nation was laid not by warriors, but by inventors, artists, and farmers. People whose ingenuity is a story we hear far too little about. Welcome. We're taking a journey beyond the Japan you think you know. We're peeling back the layers of history, way past the age of warring states and feudal lords, to uncover the amazing revolutions in technology and culture that truly shaped the Japanese islands. Now, this isn't about dissing the samurai, not at all. It's about understanding the deep, ancient currents of innovation that made their era, and even modern Japan, possible. We'll explore how communities, thousands of years back, armed with brilliant ideas and incredible adaptability, sparked changes that still resonate today. Our story kicks off in a time of primal forests and volcanic islands, with a people whose creativity left a massive mark on world history, the Jomon. And it continues with a wave of change that would redefine everything, the Yayoi. This is the story of how ingenuity, not just warfare, built a nation. Picture a Japan stretching back not just hundreds, but thousands of years. The Jomon period, usually dated from around 10,000 BCE to roughly 300 BCE, is one of the longest continuous cultures in all of human history. To put that in perspective, the pyramids of Giza, they were being built when Jomon culture was already ancient. These weren't primitive people by any stretch. The Jomon were sophisticated hunter-gatherers, fishers, and foragers who thrived in Japan's diverse, resource-rich lands for an astonishingly long time. Their very name, Jomon, whispers of their key technological signature, cord-marked pottery. And this pottery, it was, frankly, revolutionary. Some of the earliest Jomon pots are among the oldest ceramic artifacts ever found anywhere in the world. Think about that for a second. While many other cultures were still wandering without pottery, the Jomon people were already crafting intricate vessels from clay. So, why was this such a big deal? Pottery let them cook food more effectively, making tough plants edible and squeezing out more nutrients. That in turn helped support more stable settlements. It also meant they could store food, protecting it from pests and the weather. Pretty crucial for getting through lean times. The cord-marked technique itself is fascinating. Jomon potters would press or roll cords made from plant fibers onto the wet clay before firing. This wasn't just for show, though the patterns could be incredibly elaborate and beautiful, varying wildly by region and time. These markings might have also helped with gripping the pots, or maybe even helped in the firing process by increasing surface area. The styles evolved dramatically over the millennia, from early simple conical pots designed to sit in soft earth, to later, more ornate forms with flaring rims and complex designs. Some of these later pieces are genuine artistic masterpieces, a testament to a deep-seated love for beauty. Beyond just being practical, Jomon pottery gives us profound insights into their society. The sheer amount and variety suggest it was a common skill, not just for a select few. The regional differences point to distinct communities, each developing its own unique cultural expressions, even while sharing a broader Jomon identity. These weren't just pots and pans, they were woven into the cultural fabric. And then there are the mysterious dogu figurines. These small, humanoid, and sometimes animal-like clay figures are another hallmark of the Jomon. Especially the middle and later stages, they often show female forms with exaggerated features like huge goggle-like eyes and prominent chests and hips. Many scholars think they were tied to fertility rites, shamanistic rituals, or maybe acted as protective charms. Some dogu are found deliberately broken, which suggests they might have been used in healing ceremonies, where breaking the figure played some symbolic part. The intense, almost otherworldly expressions on many dogu continue to fascinate and puzzle us, offering a tiny window into the spiritual world of these ancient people. They're a powerful reminder that Jomon ingenuity wasn't just about survival, it was about expressing complex ideas and beliefs. But the Jomon toolkit didn't stop at clay. They were skilled tool makers, crafting polished stone tools, arrowheads for hunting, and fish hooks and harpoons from bone and antler, showing a deep understanding of their local resources. They developed sophisticated fishing techniques, even using dugout canoes to tap into marine life. There's also evidence they cultivated certain plants like beans and gourds, and managed chestnut groves, hinting at early forms of horticulture that helped supplement their foraging. Amazingly, there's even evidence of lacquerware from the Jomon period. That's an incredibly early adoption of a complex technology that requires serious know-how. What the Jomon period really shows us is an incredible capacity for adaptation and resilience. For over 10,000 years, these communities thrived, developing unique cultural and technological solutions to the challenges around them. They weren't just existing, they were actively innovating, creating, and laying a deep cultural foundation that would subtly influence everything that came after. Their long history speaks to a sustainable way of life, deeply connected to the natural world, a connection that's still a powerful theme in Japanese culture today. They prove that a society doesn't need massive farms or metal tools to be complex, creative, and truly enduring. Around the first millennium BCE, a new wave of huge change began to sweep across the Japanese islands. This marked the start of the Yayoi period, which lasted until about 250 CE. This wasn't an overnight flip, nor did it mean the Jomon people just vanished. Instead, it seems to have been a complex process. New people, new technologies, and new ideas arrived, mainly from the Korean Peninsula and mainland Asia. These then mixed with and gradually transformed the existing Jomon culture. This era kicked off one of the most significant tech and cultural revolutions in Japanese history, fundamentally changing how people lived, ate, and organized themselves. The absolute game changer of the Yayoi revolution was the introduction of wet rice agriculture. This was way more than just a new food source. It was a whole new way of life. Growing rice in irrigated paddies was hard work, but it was super productive. It required sophisticated knowledge of water management, building canals, dikes, and reservoirs. It demanded new tools, like wooden plows, hoes, and sickles, initially made of wood and stone, but later, increasingly, of metal. The success of rice farming led to a more stable and plentiful food supply, one that could support larger, denser populations than the Jomon hunter-gatherer lifestyle generally allowed. This agricultural surplus became the engine for massive societal shifts. With rice came a move towards more permanent settlements, often in fertile plains perfect for paddy cultivation. The need to manage and defend prime farmland and stored rice also led to fortified settlements, some with moats and wooden fences, a big difference from the generally more open Jomon villages. We start seeing large, raised floor granaries, built to protect precious harvests from damp and pests. This shows a much more organized approach to food storage. This farming revolution didn't just change diets, it reshaped society from the ground up. Hand in hand with farming came metallurgy, first bronze, then iron. Initially, bronze items like mirrors, bells, called dotaku, daggers, and halberds seem to have been imported or made by immigrant craftspeople. These early bronze pieces were often status symbols, or used in rituals rather than for everyday tools or fighting. The dotaku, those large, thinly cast bronze bells, often decorated with geometric patterns or scenes of nature and daily life, are especially iconic of the Yayoi period. We're still debating their exact purpose, but they were clearly super important, possibly used in agricultural ceremonies to pray for good harvests. The arrival of iron technology had an even more practical and widespread impact. Iron was harder and more durable than bronze, and its ore was easier to find in Japan. This allowed for tougher farm tools like plows and hoes, which boosted farming efficiency. Iron also meant better woodworking tools, leading to advances in building and carpentry. And yes, iron weapons started to appear, though the Yayoi period wasn't really defined by the kind of large-scale warfare we see in later feudal times. The main focus was more on setting up and defending farming territories. The Yayoi period also saw progress in other crafts. Weaving techniques got more sophisticated with new looms and fibers, possibly including early forms of silk, alongside hemp. Woodworking skills, boosted by better tools, were used for everything from building houses and granaries to crafting canoes and everyday items. Glassmaking techniques, though maybe on a small scale, also popped up during this time. Yayoi pottery, while different from Jomon ware, also evolved. It was generally less ornate, often smoother, and more utilitarian, a better fit for the new farming lifestyle. But it too shows regional variations and a high degree of skill. These technological leaps, especially wet rice farming and metalworking, had a profound effect on social structure. Being able to produce and store surplus food led to social classes emerging. Some individuals or groups likely got control over better land, more resources, or specialized knowledge, leading to differences in wealth and status. We start seeing evidence of emerging elites, maybe chieftains or powerful family groups, whose authority might have been tied to controlling rice production, metal resources, or religious practices. The larger, more complex settlements and the need for everyone to pitch in for irrigation and defense also suggest more defined leadership and social organization. So, the Yayoi period was a critical turning point. It wasn't just about new tools or new foods, it was a fundamental reshaping of society. It laid the groundwork for more centralized political structures. The Kofun period that followed, with its giant burial mounds for powerful rulers, grew directly out of these Yayoi transformations. The nation-building process in Japan, often linked with later imperial courts and shoguns, really picked up speed here, fueled by the bounty of rice and the power of metal. The ingenuity shown during the Yayoi era in adopting, adapting, and innovating with these new technologies set Japan on a completely new path. So, when we think about Japan's epic story, let's remember the seeds of its incredible journey were planted long before the first samurai sword was ever forged. The Jomon people, with their thousands of years of artistic expression in clay and their deep connection to the environment, created a resilient and inventive culture that lasted for an astonishing amount of time. They showed us that innovation isn't just for complex, state-level societies. Then came the Yayoi transformation. This was a period of dynamic change where new technologies like wet rice farming and metallurgy were embraced and adapted, completely reshaping the land and its communities. This revolution wasn't just about tools, it was about entirely new ways of living, organizing and building a society capable of incredible growth. These ancient revolutions in tech and culture, from the intricate chord markings on a Jomon pot to the organized rice paddies of a Yayoi village, are the true foundations of Japan's later achievements. They show us the deep-rooted ingenuity and adaptability that would continue to define Japanese society through the ages. Understanding this beyond samurai perspective doesn't take anything away from later periods. It enriches our appreciation for the full, epic sweep of Japan's journey. It reveals a nation built, layer by ingenious layer, from the very distant past. What ancient innovations do you find most fascinating? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into Japan's foundational past, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more explorations into the incredible stories of our world. Thanks for watching.